I ran a Twitter poll a number of weeks ago, I would say, where I was asking the community if they would still like me to do these kind of price-related videos, like purely price-related videos, and I got over 34% voting saying that they would be happy for me to do that. And so to me, that's an okay-ish number, and so I'm going to continue to do these at least once a week. There's no point to do these like twice a week because there's just other stuff to cover, and it probably doesn't really help anyone, especially within these market conditions. But once a week, it's all right to talk about them. And so today, we're going to talk about RMRK, Kusama, DOT, and MOVR. I'm not going to spend too much time because there's not really a bearish scenario in this case. It's more of a bullish scenario opportunity. Where could we go in a bullish scenario? In a bearish scenario, we're down so much that it's just hard to actually go down even more to a certain price range, right? We could go down, right, a lot more, but to which price range? That's the big question, right? Because we don't know. We can only use support and resistance, and we don't have any more support, unfortunately. At least not for RMRK. In the case of RMRK, which we're going to look at first, as you can see, we're trading at $4.33. We actually dropped to $4.11 today on a 24-hour low, which is quite bad. And we're just at under resistance. As you can see here, this is when RMRK started trading back in 2021 in September. And as you can see here, we were bouncing off this area of 490, 430, 440. We had a few weeks here down, and we were holding quite okay. And so now, all of this accumulation that we had here is now acting as resistance, and it's going to be pretty hard to break. And for the land sales, which are going to require RMRK, there's a good opportunity that the price could push past this resistance point. And so there is a chance that we could revisit higher levels of, say, $5, $8, and even $7. We've got some resistance here around $7. $8 would be the harder resistance to break, because that was one that I was personally bullish on. That would have been acting a solid support, and unfortunately didn't, because Bitcoin just broke past 30k, and so unfortunately we broke past that area of strong support at $8. So now it's going to be harder for us to break past that. But even if we see $8 now, I mean, that's bullish, especially as we've been accumulating. A lot of people have been accumulating around these low areas now, and so yeah, this may be difficult to break, because look at this. I mean, it's been accumulating for so long here, and it's going to be really hard to break it. We're talking like weeks here of support, which has now turned into resistance. But if we break past that with the land sales, with the bullish momentum, then it could be really good for us going forward, right? Because then that would turn into support once again. And unless Bitcoin dumps below 30k once again, by a lot, let's say, because it's kind of swinging between 28 and 30k right now. If it dumps back down to say 26k, then that could mean trouble. But if it doesn't, if it holds okay, then that could also be okay for RMRK in terms of $8 being a good support area if we break it, right? But remember, it's now turned into resistance. It's going to be hard. We're going to struggle. We first need to break this low area here. Once we do, then we'll have to fight with the big boy here, which is the $8 area here. And so yeah, that's how it is for RMRK. As you can see here, we've dumped so much. It's amazing. I mean, looking at this $21 pop here, this looked so bullish for RMRK. Everyone was happy. I was personally happy. I mean, again, we weren't out of trouble here because we didn't break past this area here. As you can see, we just about hit it once again. And so we weren't like super hyped up, but still it was good. I mean, if we would have broken around here and we would have gotten to like 25, that would have kept us going for a bit more, right? It would have given us more fuel even on the dump here. It would have probably held higher. But unfortunately, because this didn't hold, then, you know, with the dump in Bitcoin, we just ended up going down and down, lower and lower. And so yeah, that's unfortunate. But yeah, I wouldn't know what to say with regards to support now, because we don't have any support. And so could we go to $3 once again? Yeah, we can. Could we go to $1? Absolutely. Could we go to 10 cents? Yes, we can. It is a probability. It's a very low one, but there is a probability, all depending on what Bitcoin does. But for the bullish scenario, we need to first break this area of $4.80 to $5. Once you do that, then the next one is around 7, and then the next one is 8. And so those are the bullish scenarios. Looking at Kusama, Kusama has dumped a lot, but not as bad as I thought with the unlocks. I've actually ended up selling some of my Kusama, not all of it. I've bought a bird as well, a rare bird. And I've ended up selling some of my Kusama, which I got back from the first batch of crowd loans, just to buy RMRK at these prices. I actually got more RMRK at 416, And so I'm happy to DCA into Remark. I don't have any more Kusama right now, unfortunately, unlocked at least, right? I will be getting more, but of course that next one's going to be in August, so it's going to be quite some time away. But for me personally, like, I'm happy with my Remark bag now. I think I'm okay. I'm okay to ride it. I'm okay. Whatever happens now, I'm not going to buy any more, right? I think I've got enough Remark. But I do see some potential with Remark, especially with the land sales and then with different versions of Skybridge that we need to see them launch. Earlier versions before the final one, of course. And then the potential partnerships with other companies that are working on similar things, like for example Habo. It's something that I've been discussing, something that has been discussed in the Blockdown event in Croatia, where they're evaluating if they're going to partner or not with Remark. And so that's something to look forward to, right? Bear or not bear, partnerships matter, especially if we're talking about integrations which will generate utility, which will bring new community members to Remark, right? So yeah, definitely something good, especially considering the super low market cap right now. And so yeah, Kusama, just to get back to that, because I kind of weighed off now with talking about Remark, and I just so yeah, $115 looks like, 110 to 115 looks like we're going to encounter some resistance around this. It's going to be a bit tough to break, but again, I mean, look, Kusama is showing accumulation around this area. We're bouncing up and down here between $70 and $85, and so we're now moving back up again. It looks like it wants to go and retest $85 again, or maybe even 83. But it looks pretty good here for us for Kusama right now. We're in that accumulation area. There is demand. People are still buying it, either for staking or for crowd loans, because remember, we're still going to get crowd loans on Kusama. It's not game over. But I think it's going to be a long time before we'll see these high levels of 250. And so for me personally, I'm just not seeing the value in staking my KSM right now. I think buying Remark is more profitable for me personally, even if it means selling Kusama at these low prices. Remember, Remark has dumped even more. And so you got to look at which one dumped more and what potential do they have for growth. And so for me personally, I see Remark as a bigger potential for growth. And so of course, I'm personally putting it where the growth is, right? I'm not saying Kusama is not going to grow. It sure can, right? But I'm just not looking at holding that much more Kusama as I used to have when Remark is so low. And Remark has not seen that full potential. When Remark gets to that potential, then I would say, okay, that's enough. There's no point for me to get any more Remark, because it just got to that high potential now, where we're at that stage, that maturity, where Skybridge is launched, where people are using it, where we're seeing utility for Remark. And so when we're seeing that price target in the next bull market, maybe something like even $50, $60, right? It could go to 100, but let's say it goes to $50, $60 with a mature product. That's when I would be looking to sell some Remark. Of course, I will not exit all of my position because you can never know where it goes, but that's when I would be looking to sell some of my Remark. When you see a product being launched and you're seeing the price reflect the utility of that product. And so that's why I'm personally waiting. And so yeah, for Kusama, 115 is going to be the next area of support. In terms of resistance, I should say. In terms of support, let me see. Let's go back to the past. We need to look even further. And so before we had this pop here, you could see we've got some support around 74. And this is the reason why we weren't breaking down that much, because we have some support here holding it right around 74. We've got more at 65. As you can see, we got this little tick here. And then this one here around 61. So we got some more around 65 and 61. We got some more around 60 as well. So again, 60, 61 around this one here. This is quite okay as well. It should bounce off that. Then we got more around 50. And then we got a lot more around 40. 40 should be fine. And then the next one, 32, is super solid. But if we get to that level, I mean, that's going to be really, really nasty for those who bought Kusama around these high prices of over $300, because imagine being down so much. Being down so much is not pretty, right? No, everyone knows that. Looking at DOT, I mean, DOT is super cheap as well, $9.87. We had these massive pops. We had the all-time high of over $54 here. As we can see, it was actually 55 on KuCoin. I think it was more on Binance. What was it? 55 something here. I can't get it to stop here. 54, I think this was the all-time high. Or was it a bit high? No, this one, 55.09 on KuCoin, right? 55.09 on KuCoin. That is quite a huge drop that we've had with DOT as well. And so now we're at this really thin area of support. It's just holding on by a thread here, as you can see. This is from back in January of 2021 when we last saw this price, before we had that massive pop as the demand began with DOT, right? When people discovered what DOT is going to be used for. And so we're holding on by a thread here. Once we break below this, we're in big trouble then, because the next area is $6. Okay, so if DOT dumps once again below this area, it's not going to hold around 860, it's not going to hold around 8, it's going to go straight to 6 here, where is the next solid area of support. And then even more solid here around 540. As you can see, we got two areas here, actually 630 and 540 here from the past, because you got to keep everything into consideration. You got to take everything into consideration, right? Everything you see here are all going to be acting as support. All these pops here that we had where we couldn't break higher. And so yeah, $6 is a long ride down, but it's a possibility depending on Bitcoin, depending on the bear market, if it lasts. Looking at MOVR has had such a massive down. Look at this, it went down to the floor, amazing. Imagine, I seen it go to almost $500 once, dumping down to 230, pumping to 500, and then to see it dump down to 23, that's absolutely insane. If you would have told anyone that this is going to happen, you would have said, you're nuts, bro, you're nuts. I mean, look, if you would have seen this and someone would have told you this is going to go to $23, you would have said, nah, this is not going to happen anytime soon, bro. Maybe 100, right? Maybe even, I don't know, maybe even 70, 80, maybe at the worst, but who would have thought, you know, $23? That is really nasty. And so now we're in trouble, because now we've got different areas of resistance. We got $38 here, which is acting as resistance around this area. We got this area here around 43, which is acting as resistance. We're going to struggle past this as well. And then we got more resistance around these areas here, see, 58. And so we got them at different levels. Now every $10 we go up, we're going to encounter resistance. And so it's going to be tough, right? The bright side of MOVR is that now there are no more Crowdloan rewards. They've all been paid out. But on the downside, there's just so much resistance that we need to break. That's going to be hard. They need to do something, I don't know, they need to create some sort of amazing utility for MOVR now to take us out of this mess that we're in right now. But yeah, on the way down, there's no support, so it could drop to anything. It's anyone's guess. Anyone could just throw a coin and say this is the number, and it could happen, right? That could be the number. It's just there's no point for us to guess, because we don't have any areas of support, unfortunately. I mean, it's never been this low before, so we got to be realistic about this. So yeah, just wanted to kind of give my thoughts on this and why I'm personally bullish on RMRK. In times like these is when you should look at what has the most potential. And although MOVR still has potential to grow, I got to give it to RMRK in this case because of their product. They haven't launched their product, right? When they're going to have a mature product, which is going to be operating, we're going to see people using it, and it gets to a certain price. It'll get to that price discovery phase. Then we can say, yeah, now RMRK has reached its peak, or it could go higher, but we could say, okay, now it's a mature product. Now we could safely assume that it doesn't have room for much higher. But until that happens, to me, RMRK is still a gem. That's what I want to close it off with. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.